Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here. In this video today I'm going to be kind of giving my thoughts on the Blizzard Q&A with Holinka about PvP and the state of PvP in Legion and just PvP in World of Warcraft in general. Now, recently I did a video called The Life and Death of WoW, just kind of going over the reason why people sub and unsub and why it hits peaks and valleys. And in that video I did mention that PvP is completely awful in Legion and it's a little bit broken and just not as fun as I've ever had, the least fun I've ever had. So I was really looking forward to watching this question and answer session, and I did watch it all. And frankly, the first thing I'm going to say is just how disappointed I was. Um, I know that you can't answer like really rude questions or really you can't feed trolls and things like that. But it seemed it. I don't know what it was for a fact, but it seemed like the questions were really very, very, very hand selected, very scripted kind of interview type thing, and it wasn't super informative. They didn't get into any, well, I shouldn't say any, but a lot of the real problems. There was one really interesting thing I took out of it, which I'll get to after I'm done kind of complaining. But they didn't talk about different class imbalances, why some classes just always suck at PvP, why, a lot of things like that. Also, another complaint would be that they just, Holinko, he was like, well, that's a really good idea, but that's a lot of work. Like, it's your job. I know it's a lot of work, but to make the game better, it's going to take a lot of work. And it's like they don't care if the game's better. And if they don't care if the game's better, then the game's not going to get better. It doesn't matter how much we want it to get better because we're not the ones making the game. We're not the ones coding it and trying to come up with new innovations and things. So the game's not going to get better if they don't want to do the work. And far be it for me to judge anyone else. I've worked at jobs where we had vacations or extended vacations, and everyone wants that. But um, I was a little bit put off a little bit when it seemed like pretty much every Blizzard employee was off for like a month, or in around December. And I get it to an extent. Those people work really hard. They really do for a lot of the months of the year. But when you're involved in something where it's kind of live updates constantly, and you're willing to just basically say for a month, well, we don't care, that's just not good. It's not good business. While like I said, there's a lot of places where you have vacations, extended vacations even, but it's not usually your entire company or the entire like heads of your company that are going to be gone at one time. Most places, if anyone's watching this, has that kind of job life. You kind of have to coordinate your vacations around each other. So like two people in the same position can't take the same vacation time. They'll have to plan it around each other. Um, I was really put off by that, and I kind of got that same vibe today when I was watching their Q&A. That they're like, well, it's a lot of work. Well, yeah, but it is a lot of work. That's the point. It's a lot of work. You need to make it better though, because you haven't been doing the work to make it better for a few X packs really. Now, there's always going to be the diehards that are going to be playing PvP no matter what. They're going to like it no matter what, and probably because they're really good at it. And so if you're a top ranked player, you have a lot of good things going for you. You can go win a tournament, you can get fame, notoriety, become a streamer, all kinds of good things, sponsors. So yeah, if you're one of those people, you're gonna love PvP no matter what. You're living the high life. But if you're a casual PvPer, or even worse, someone like me who would love to get into more hardcore PvP, like arena and RBGs, but I'm just kind of intimidated by it because I don't know people that do it, so I just have to be meeting strangers and try to get involved in it that way. It's not in a good place right now for anybody like that. It's in a great place. It's still in a, I shouldn't even say great, but it's in a good place for really hardcore people. And most of my videos aren't about the extremist points. It's not for the worst player and it's not for the best player. I am kind of speaking to a casual player maybe a casual player who wants to be good, but I am kind of speaking, on behalf of casual players in a way. And I think that they could just do so many changes. I know when I was talking in that same video I referenced earlier that I made, um, people don't like to hear when you're talking about different kinds of games that aren't MMOs or whatever. But when I compare something, like in this case, I'm going to use Overwatch just because it's another Blizzard game. I realize it's a first-person shooter, but it, it's competitive gameplay. So PvE rating is not competitive gameplay. That is more MMO. Once you try to delve into the competitive gameplay, you have to adapt. You have to make your product better. Arena was cool when it first came out because it was kind of one of the only things where you had a specialized character going into these groups, and it would be really important how you synergize, and it still is. Your group comp is a big thing, um, and that was kind of cool. But when you have less player base, when you're on a server, when maybe you're a horde and the horde are dead, or your alliance and the alliance are dead on your server, you have less people to work with. You have to try to use the looking for group tool, which is annoying to try to use because of how many really bad or really trolly people are in that as well. And you just it's just not a good experience. There's a million different ways I could go on about this. It's I really wish that they could do some changes to make it more friendly. So I will get to the one thing that was positive now before I end the video. But they were talking about solo queuing for RPGs and solo queuing for arenas and just getting matched up. And again, they said it was so hard to do that. I will believe you that it's really hard to do that, but you know, and what they referenced was in every other game, you pretty much can do that. If you play competitive gameplay, you can solo queue. You don't have to find a group first. And they're like, well, you might not get a good group comp. But what I'm saying is, for someone like me, is if I solo queued and I eventually, law of averages say, as long as you're facing other people, especially that are doing the solo queuing, you're going to have a really good match or a really good RBG or whatever, and you're going to be like, hey, do you guys want to group up? And they're like, well, they'll either say yes or no, and you can add them as friends or battle IDs, and you can meet people that way instead of in that looking for group tool, which is you're kind of you're kind of like tying your hitch to them before you know how good they are. Like I don't want to be like, oh yeah, I'm in this group of these people. We go in, we lose one, we lose two, we lose three. I'm like, okay, I guess this wasn't the right group to join. Whereas, but you kind of already made that little bit of a commitment to them by joining their group. Um, whereas when you're just queuing, in it basically I could use the same arguments that they made about not doing it for why you should do it. So they're like, well, you're going to join, you're going to get mad at these people because they're not good. Well, yeah, but that same thing happens now in the looking for group tool, except for it's not as an easy of a process to do. Doing it this way, I'm still going to be not happy when I have bad teammates, but when I have a good teammate, it'll be easier for me personally to find good teammates. And me personally, I'll add them as a friend, or hopefully I'll meet somebody who wants to play competitively. And to their credit, they did say that it basically hinted that maybe in the next expansion, that might be a reality of solo queuing. So I completely understand of not being able to put something that huge into a patch into this expansion. That I'm completely fine with. I don't care if it's not until the next expansion, but hopefully they do put that in. That would be great. Um, that would be awesome. Overall, though, again, I didn't really like the Q&A. Feel free to go watch it on your own if you like. You can find that on their YouTube channel usually, or on their Twitch channel. Recent videos, just Warcraft at Warcraft. If you want to get your own take on it. But for me, like I said, it was a little bit too scripted. There was a lot of complaining about, well, it's just too much work. And I just thought that they could have got into more important issues So for someone like me who really loved PvP during Burning Crusade and has slowly drifted out of it more and more and more. But yeah, that's about it. I guess I've kind of gone on about this enough. So everyone, have a good one. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Thumbs up and sub as always. Also comment below, share the videos. Appreciate it so much. You can also check me out at Twitter at Wow-Gaming Inc. and at Twitch with the tag name Kneecap Killa. So everyone have a good one and see you again soon.